Hey, what's up guys? I'm Yuli.
And I'm Mike.
And in this video, we're going to be sharing with you how we built $1 million dropshipping business in our first year of dropshipping. And the reason why we want to share this is not to say how great we are, but to show you that anything is possible.
Yeah, because when we got started in dropshipping, like a week before, I had never heard of dropshipping at all. I never heard of Shopify. We didn't have any idea about the business model. At that time, I was finishing my PhD in mechanical engineering.
And I was working in the health and wellness field, like working as a coach and as a business consultant to other health and wellness coaches. So neither of us were ecom pros or anything until we started drop shipping. And using these three main focuses that we're going to share with you, we were able to scale our business to $1 million in the first year, and it's been growing exponentially thereafter. A key thing that we want to say just before we get into all of this is the strategies we're sharing with you is to create a drop shipping business that's sustainable. We're not about get rich quick. We're not just, like get in, make a ton of money and get out. This is how you create an e-commerce business that just happens to be drop shipping, but that's going to give you consistent income that's scalable and
And that's a big thing that I think that distinguishes us from a lot of people is that we don't just we don't just say the same things as everybody else. I think building a sustainable business like this is the goal because we're not trying to get rich. We're trying to just keep it going for a long period of time. You want this to replace your income and be your full-time job, not just like see big spikes and then drop off and things like that.
Well, we're trying to get rich, just not in and out.
Exactly.
We're trying to get rich. All the time.
All the time. Sustainably rich.
Okay, so the first thing that we really focus on is creating a brand. And I think a lot of dropshipping businesses really overlook this because you think just because you're dropshipping doesn't mean that, you should be creating a brand just like, any other established e-commerce business. So yeah, that's the first pillar.
And I think a brand is a lot more than just a logo and a color scheme. A brand is an identity, it's understanding, it's having ideal customers, what are they like, knowing who they are, knowing how to speak to them. It's not just like we sell this type of product and this is what our logo looks like.
Exactly. So there's three main elements to creating the brand. So the first one was choosing a niche. So we chose a niche that we're familiar with, that we understand, and that we really know how to speak to that audience. So for you, this could be a hobby that you already have, interest that you already, dabble in, or something that you'd like to learn about.
Yeah, and again, it doesn't have to be like your favorite thing in the world. What's important though is that you understand how to speak to this audience, like what type of phrasing they use and like just what type of things they're interested aside from just this one particular thing you're selling, just kind of the whole overlap, just being able to understand the people that you're talking to.
Yeah, exactly. So for example, like the community of like rescue dog moms, they have, like certain phrases they say, certain languages, certain language they use, certain things that they're more inclined to buy versus, like regular dog moms or whatever. So really understanding the intricacies of that community is what's going to really help you succeed a lot quicker. From there, it becomes easier to choose your product. So, think about any well-established store. They don't just have a bunch of random products for the most part, like any well-established brand. They're usually curated and they all, make sense together. They're all, what's like the word?
Like cohesive.
They're cohesive.
Cohesive collections, cohesive products. And this is not to say that general stores can't be done. General stores are great, but that's not the model we're talking about here. This is a completely different model, and this is the niche store, which has really been beneficial for us.
Exactly. And by niching down, you're able to succeed as a brand a lot quicker. So it's like, a really niche rescue dog mom store is going to become, better well known versus like a general store just because there's that community that you can build around it, which brings me to my third point of, really creating a community and content. So when we are on social media, we are not only selling products, but we're also building that community by sharing content on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, really anywhere. That's beyond just selling products. Yeah. We're sharing memes, we're sharing videos, we're sharing content to really bring people together, build that trust, build that community, have people sharing our content for us and building our audience organically.
Yeah, exactly. You bring the audience there by doing this. I would say 95% of our posts don't sell anything.
Yep.
95% of them just creating a space for people who would likely buy our products to just hang out and talk and kind of become a self-sustaining community. And of course we run ads too, but this just makes it all that much better, especially for once someone, if they come in from an ad and they find us, then they stay in the community. And that's what we're talking about with sustainability. We get a lot more repeat customers. I think there's a huge myth with dropshipping in general that it's just always one and done. But if you build a community and a brand like this, you can get a lot of repeat customers. And that's really where the money is in dropshipping.
Exactly. And to your point with another myth, which we'll dive into in a future video, but by creating a brand that people know and trust is the reason why if someone sees your products in their newsfeed, they're not going to go searching on Amazon to find that product cheaper. They already know you, they trust you, and they're going to buy from you. They're not necessarily going to be looking all over the internet for a cheaper place to buy it because you have that brand establishment.
A brand authority, if you will.
Exactly.
So that's all under brand. That's kind of the first thing I think that's been really beneficial to us. I would say the second thing that was really beneficial to our success is understanding our numbers to a crazy degree. Analytics are everything for us.
Exactly. So not all $1 million businesses are created equally. We see here on YouTube, there's a lot of people talking about $1 million dropshipping e-commerce business, but just because someone has made $1 million in revenue doesn't mean they're super profitable or profitable at all. They may be losing money if they don't know their numbers. And we're happy that we actually have a positive, profitable $1 million business, but that's only because we really figured out our numbers. What are our profit margins? What do our ads need to be converting at to make money? What do our emails need to be converting at? How should we price our products? Those numbers have been key because we were kind of in the beginning flying blind.
Yeah, exactly. In the very beginning, for the first couple of months, we're making sales, but we don't really have a measure of how well we're doing. And then we kind of crunched the numbers and realized there was a lot of holes in the business, a lot of big mistakes. And I think that's a huge thing too. If you know the numbers, you can really develop your strategy around that. Because it all depends on the products you're selling, and when you run ads and stuff, there are products where a 1.5 ROAS can make you a ton of money, and there are products where a 1.5 ROAS will lose you a ton of money.
Or even a 3 ROAS will lose you a ton of money.
So you can't even buy into anything like that. But really, just once we understand our numbers and we understand how much a customer is worth to us, what will they buy again, at what rate do they buy again, how much does that cost us, if they buy 2 products, how much more does our margin, how much more do we keep in profit? So then we can really build our ad strategy around that, we can build our email strategy around that, and we'll get all into that in future videos and things like that on what actually works for us. But just having really strong sense of all of your margins all the time, all your overhead costs. It's all super, super, super important.
Exactly. I know in the beginning when we started listing products on the store, I would say, oh, well, this product sells in, this store for $30. So I'm going to make it $30 too, just to kind of have market price. But you can't just price things arbitrarily. Is that a real word?
Oh yeah.
Okay. There has to be a reason why. So now in our store, every single product, that price is not an accident. It's the result of a formula. So we know that we're actually making money when we're selling it and not just sharing fancy screenshots, but not making any money.
There's so much more we can go on that too, with even just testing the prices in your store. Once you already have things, you really should be doing that from day one once you're getting consistent traffic. But that's, again, so much other stuff. We just have a lot of things we can talk about. So
subscribe so you are in the loop for future videos. But for this one, we want to get into our third thing.
And what is that third thing, Yuliya?
It's outsourcing.
Of course.
So we've covered brand, we've covered numbers, and now we are covering outsourcing, which is my favorite thing ever. I think a big problem that a lot of business owners, not just in dropshipping, but business owners in general, a big hole we fall into is working in the business versus working on the business. So for example, in the beginning, we were spending hours a day fulfilling orders, and it creates the illusion of progress because you're busy.
We could spend, I mean, when we got to a point right before we started outsourcing, I resisted outsourcing. I thought it was like, if we can do it ourselves, why waste money having someone else do it? And then we realized we're spending 5-6 hours a day between fulfilling orders and doing customer emails and responses and things like that. And then, you kind of gave us the push and said, we need to do this. We've looked at our numbers. We understand that we can, it does drop our margins slightly to do this, and it does initially, but then we realized, okay, now we have 5-6 hours more a day, and that's when our business really started taking off. We started spending that time researching more products, refining our ad strategy, making our website just like conversion driven centric, having upsells, like more smarter upsells, better email systems, everything. Just, you have so much time, and that's the biggest issue, and that was the biggest mindset block for me personally, is like, I should do everything myself. I shouldn't pay anybody to do anything. I can do myself. But really, what is your time worth? How much bigger can you get your business going if you're just not doing the repeatable tasks? And I think once you start to get to a point where you know your numbers and you can understand how much you're making, then any task that is repetitive should be outsourced right away. Don't wait until it's eating up all your time. As soon as you see a task that's just repeatable every single day or every X amount of days or hours, then just don't do that anymore. Get someone else to do it.
Like, you should only be doing in your business what only you can do. So just like we have limited amount of hours in a day, we also have a limited amount of like mental resources. So like that time we were spending on customer service and fulfilling orders, that was also mental energy we were spending on that, which isn't unlimited. Like that mental energy we now use to move the business forward. So like Mike said, on strategy. So that's like really important. You may lose some money in the beginning by outsourcing, but it's like kind of like a slingshot, like you pulls you back, but it propels you forward that much more, because now you have not only the time resources, but the mental resources moving your business forward versus like, looking up tracking information for 1 million customers, because that's not the best use of a CEO's time. So to wrap it up, how we got to $1 million profitable dollars, not that we profit $1 million, but our business is $1 million in the first year, is brand. So you want to find a niche, find products that are cohesive for that niche, and really create a community and content to not only bring people together to buy stuff, but to also bring people together to create a community where people are sharing your store for you.
And but even just on that though, even more than that is like, because ads are still how we get most people, and that, I don't think building that is like, oh, we're going to build up all these organic sales, but that is how you get repeat customers when they have a community, and that is, I can't stress that enough. Repeat customers are everything.
And that's very rare for drop shipping businesses.
Okay, sorry to cut you off.
No.
And then, so that's the first point, branding. And the second point, again, is just numbers.
Know your numbers. Don't fly blindly like we did in the beginning, because you may think like, oh shit, like I'm making all this revenue, and then you're actually, losing money. So don't do that.
Or you'll realize like, oh, this one product is actually making a ton more money than the other one. I should flood my resources towards this.
Very positive way of looking at it. And number 3, outsource. So don't do anything that someone else can do. If only you can do it, then you do it. If someone else can do it, let someone else do it, because that is going to propel you to build your business that much faster.
And that's how you stop being a one-man show, or a two-man show in this case.
Man and woman show.
Two-person show. Yeah. CEO, vice president.
So if you like this video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, comment down below if you have any questions or ideas for future videos that you'd like us to do. We definitely want to make sure that we keep sharing with you, what's helped us grow our business, because we think it's really special to not only have the time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom that a dropshipping business can bring, but also creating a business that's a powerful brand that's actually, making a positive impact in the world versus just, making a quick buck and getting out.
And check out some of our videos coming up. They're going to be a lot more strategic, specific, X's and O's, things like that. So plenty more to talk about. As you can tell, probably we like to talk, so it's going to be good.
Okay, have a good one, guys.
Take care.
Bye.